Okay, we'll start. And the next topic, what you're going to see is date and time module. We are discussing about modules, right? What are the predefined modules available? So now we are going to see with date and time module. That is the next topic. Date time module. So we have seen that why do you use random module? If you want to pick value randomly, we have went with random module. The same way, if at all you want to deal with date and time, then I can go ahead with date time module. So if at all you want to use it, I'm supposed to make use of import date time. So this is a module which you're supposed to import it. Then you can go ahead with the available methods available in it. Now let me try to make use of few methods. So let us assume we are going to make use of date. You're going to pass some information. I want the particular information as a date format. In those cases, I can make use of date time dot date. Date time dot date. And whatever the date you're passing here, let us assume, let me pass 2021, comma 1, comma 1. So I'm passing some date here as a parameter. Now, if I try to print my date, your output will be displayed as a date format. Something is missing. Just a minute. We are supposed to import it. We didn't import it. So we'll import this one. Then we'll try to execute this one. What happened? Why it is not printing? Let me check to it, guys. We are supposed to give this inside print statement. Here. Fine. So what happened? I'm passing some information. Year, month and day. So it is giving as a date format. If I use date time dot date, it gives you the given information as a date format. We didn't give this hyphen at all. It is taking by itself. Okay. And apart from this, if you want to know the current date, what is today's date? In those case, I can let me give T date as my just variable name for storing it. Or you can print directly just for your clarification. I'm storing it and trying to print it. Date time dot date dot today. If you use this particular predefined method, what happens? It will print your current date. Okay, this is a current date it will be printed. And now we got the current date and how to print the past information as a date. If at all you want only date alone or month alone, I want year alone, I can do specifically such a way. I can mention print t date dot day. If I mention day, only the current day will be printed. If I mention month, print t date. So t date is not a variable, guys. This is not a keyword. T date is a variable. I've declared I'll do this operation. I'm going to store in a variable called t date. So this t date has this date, and if I'm accessing t date dot day, so it is going to fetch a day from the given date. If I mention t date dot month, it is going to fetch the month from the given date. Okay, the same way for year also. So you can ask the specific information if required based on your program. You can access it. So this is about date function. Okay. And next is we'll go ahead with the time. So if you want to access time, here what we did, we have mentioned dot date, right? Date time dot date. Instead of this date, you're supposed to make use of time. So let us assume I'm going to pass, let me use a variable called t time. T time assign date time dot date dot should be time, right? Sorry guys. Date time dot time. So here what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass certain information, and this information will be passed in this order. First is your hours, and next is your minutes, and next is your seconds, and next is your microseconds. This is how the information will be passed. Hours, minutes, seconds and microseconds. So let me consider House has 7, 39. Okay, 7 hours, 35 minutes, 45 seconds. Just like this. And here minutes, I'm going to give some values. Make sure that minutes can be of only 6 digit. If you're giving more than that, it will throw you error. Okay, should be of 6 digits. And now let me try to print it. Print my tea time. Just a minute. Here should be comma separated, guys. Here you should not give us colon. If you're giving us a colon, by default it means that you're passing us a time format. So it should be comma separated as you pass for a date function. So if you're passing information like this, it will convert as a your this one digital clock. It'll have like this as we seen here. If I'm passing comma separator year, month and date, it'll consider as a time. The same way here you can pass comma separated value which will treat as time here. So as we see previously, is it possible to fetch this particular hours alone, minutes alone? We'll see to it. Is it possible or not? That's possible here just by mentioning print tea time dot hours. If I mention this, hours will be displayed. The same thing if I mention print tea time dot minutes. So tea time is a variable where I store this time. Seconds. Okay, if you give microseconds, microseconds will be displayed. In this way, you can access specific hours, minutes, and second. Is this clear with the date time, ma? Maximum you don't use it. If at all you're getting some scenario based dealing with date and time, then we can make use of this. Apart from this, often we'll never use this one. Good. So you people might have a doubt. Can we know the current time? Yes, it is possible to even display the current time also just by mentioning, just a minute. If we mention C time, you're supposed to give date time dot date time. Here you can notice that we are given for today's date, right? So here date time dot now. So it will give you some time. This particular timing will be based on the UTC one. UTC time format is there, right? Universal time format will be giving in those manner. Universal time format information will be given like this. So like this, you can able to fetch the current date and current time. All these things will be useful whenever you people are dealing with this one. What to say? The program with date and time. Apart from this, we'll never use this often. We'll use rarely. But you should know these things. It will be useful for your shortcuts. Okay. And apart from this, we have seen about this module, right? OS module is completed. And the next one is we are going to see with this math module. Math module, we have seen one particular implementation yesterday. What is that? Math module, we have seen one implementation, one program based on it. What is the method you have seen yesterday? Could you people remember? For program, we have used this math module. What is that? Good, good. Good, Maurya. We use ceil function, right? So this particular math module is used for doing certain mathematical operation. Okay, let me give lot of methods are there. Here I'm going to give you only few methods. If at all you want to take square root of a given number, I can mention math dot square root of the particular number. So what happens? It gives you square root of it. But make sure that square root will return always the float value. It will never give you integer value. It always gives you float value. Okay. And let us assume if you want to do product of two number, I can mention math dot product. Product of, sorry, PROD only, not DCT. Product of, I can mention like this. So it gives you, sorry guys, it should be a list. Sorry. It should be a iterable. I can't able to pass like this. It should be a iterable. Let me pass here. This list. Here it is not taking. Guys, actually this is available since this editor is not taking here. Math has no PROD. PROD is there. Just a minute. I'll try it ideally. It will have small one or two methods which is not acceptable in certain editors. Import math. Let us have a list. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And here we'll go with the product. Print math dot. Let us check whether product is there. If it is here, then it will be accepting. Product is here. It is available here. It is working. Clear. So what happened if at all you are using product of list, the entire list will be product, then product. Yesterday we have seen this doing multiplication of all the numbers 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 into 5. This can be done by using a single statement called product. And apart from this, if you want to implement power operation, I can make use of power. Math dot power of 2 comma 3. So what happened? Power of 2 power 3 is mentioned like this. Okay, like this lot of functions are there guys. Mostly will use only certain things. Or if you want to find the GCD of the given number, I can mention math.gcd of greatest common divisor. Instead of writing logic, you can find easily like this. Clear? Math.gcd of 4 comma 5. So it gives you the GCD result as a GCD. Okay, and apart from this we are seeing floor, the seal value. If at all you want to find the floor value, I can mention floor of 2 comma 5 comma 2. Yeah, Shamir, I'll teach you about the scope of the variable. Here floor returns how to give floor value. The floor parameter is missing. Yeah, I'll give this one guys. Okay, I'll give you the scope of this variable topic. This floor one can pass. Okay, so instead of this division, let me pass directly. As of now. So if we want to find the floor of 1.5 value, what is the nearest floor value? Will be giving us 1. Here it should be divided, right? So let me give like this. If you give floor of 1.5, it gives you the nearest value. Like this, lot of functions are available, guys. I want you people to go through it. Here I mentioned only few things which we are going to use in a program. Apart from this, lot of function is available. Just kindly go through this one. Samir, can I will deal with the scope of a variable when you're seeing with class and object. Then dealing here, if I'm explaining about this one in case of class and object, it will be very useful for you guys. Okay, you cover those topics doing class and objects. Okay, fine. I guess you people are clear with this math module. Is it clear? Normally, there are certain mathematical function. Instead of doing calculation, you can make use of it. Shall we move on to next one? So we are completed. We are done with the module. Okay, good. And next is, so we'll have certain problem statements. We'll discuss those problem statements. So morning will start with control statement, problem statements and control statements. Power a number in a list, that's not possible. Here individual number power is possible. If you want to do it in a list, then you need a iterator, Harsha. So I guess everyone knows about this if condition. We have seen about this if condition, if else, nested if else, all those things we have seen it, right? So before going to next one, I'll tell you about here we do have this ternary operator. Have you came across this ternary operator in C programming? Ternary operator, what is the use of it? Come on, make it soon. C programming, you might have came across one term called ternary operator. No idea. Forgot. Okay, not an issue. So normally if you want to find biggest of two number, what you'll be doing? You'll be mentioning if A greater than B, if this is greater, we'll be printing 3 operand with 2 operator. What is the main use of the ma? So it'll display A is big. This is a normal if condition you'll be writing, right? By using if else. Else, print B is big. So instead of writing this big line, you'll be writing in a single line. It is used for shortening your expression. That is the use of this ternary operator. So speaking about this ternary operator, the syntax is you'll be having true expression followed by your if condition. Okay. Then followed by your else followed by false expression. This is the syntax of it. So let me implement the same program by using ternary operator. So we'll have this A and B value here and followed by it, we'll see how to implement it. So what is the true expression here? I'm going to check this condition. If at all if the condition is true, I'll have A greater than B. Again, followed by it, I'll have my if condition. If A is greater than B, if this condition is true, I'll go ahead with this print operation. Else, I'll have the statement here. The same program way of writing. Yes, Samir, that is in case of C. In case of Python, you'll be writing in this way, where the same if condition can be written in a single line. This is all about the ternary operator. Whenever you people are going to make use of this if condition, you can do this one. So now I'll give you one program. Just try to complete soon. Here we are going to check the program for divisibility rule. We are going to check for divisibility rule. Divisibility rule in the sense, here I'm going to accept a number from the user. If the accepted number is divisible by 3, I want to display my output with fun. If the accepted number is divisible by 5, then I want my output as gun. If my accepted number is divisible by 3, okay, it is divisible by 3, and if the accepted number is divisible by 5, then I want my output as fun gun. Okay, if the accepted number is not divisible by 3 and 5. If it is not divisible by 3 and 5, then you should display not divisible. Okay, for example, let me give few test cases. If the given number is 3, 3 is divisible only by, if the given number will take us 9. 9 is divisible only by 3, so expected output is fun. If at all the given number is 15, sorry, I'll take 10. If it is 10, 10 is divisible only by 5, so I need output as gun. If the given number is 15, 15 is divisible by both 3 and 5, so I need fun gun as my output. So if the given number is 11, 11 is not divisible by any one of the numbers, so I should display not divisible as my output. Will you people try this program? You can take 5 minutes of your time. You can type in your device. You can post the answer in the chat box. Right now it is 7:55. Try to complete this program within 8 o'clock. Checking divisibility rule. Accepting a number. If the number is divisible by 3, display this output alone. 5, the other output. So this is the condition I have given you people. Try to it. You can type in your editor or you can paste it here, guys. Okay. It is very easy only. I didn't give much complex program. It is easy only. Okay, okay, Samir. Who has completed? Okay. Maurya. Okay. In a straight line. No, this never works, Maurya. In a straight line, if you're having like this logic will never work like this. Okay. So is that Sai Sudhar? Here, according to your program, if I pass 15 as my input, check to it what you're getting. You'll get only fun as my answer. I'll never get fun gun. You didn't get it. Check with the logic, Harsha. What is the reason? Just post your code. I'll see to it. I'll say to tell you what is the logical error is there. Yeah, that is the reason. Sai Sudhar, I'm saying there's some logical flaw is there. Whenever input is given, check with the input order. Vasudev, yeah, logic is fine, ma. But what happens here is you should not use written. Are you using function? If at all you are using inside a function, then that's fine. You are using normal program without function in the sense, then don't write written there. Mention print. Apart from this, everything is right. Your logic is good. Niranjan, you can write by using nested loop also or by using if else also. Normal elif ladder. You can write it. So I didn't give any condition here. So you should write only by this. I give a general one. Shall we discuss? Are you people still trying? Time complexity, all those things will be dealt with the data structure, guys. Don't worry about it now. Tell you about those things in data structure. Shall we discuss now? Are you still trying? Come on. Okay, we'll discuss. Okay. Listen carefully. It is so simple, guys. Checking divisibility rule in the sense what you are going to check, you're going to take a number, divide and check it. If the number is divisible, then your remainder value will be 0. I guess normally you people have a habit of writing odd or even number in your C programming. How will you write? If the number is divisible by 2 and your remainder equal to 0, we will be printing it as an even number, isn't it? We'll be printing as an even number. The same way, if the number is not divided, what you will do? You will print it as a else you will be printing as a odd number. This is a normal process, you'll be doing it. The same thing you're going to do, instead of checking divisible of 2, I'm going to check with divisible of 3 and 5. This is the only variation. Here, checking even number is a checking with divisibility rule of 2. Okay. Checking divisibility rule of 3 and 5 in the sense, in place of 2, you're going to check for 3 and 5. This is a condition. Now we'll go ahead further. Now, what is the first one you're supposed to do? You're supposed to accept an integer input, right? So let me mention number assigned int of input. So input will be accepted here from the user, and later on we'll go ahead with the logic. So what is the logic? You're supposed to check the divisible, but not the single condition. We are having multiple condition. One is for 3, another is for 3, another is for 5, another is for 3 and 5. So we should know which condition has to be written first. So we are having multiple condition 3 and 5. Which condition has to be written first has to be known. So we can write this which condition first. If I am writing 3 as first condition, what happens? I'll let you know what is that. If I pass 15 as my input value, this 15 is divisible by 3, isn't it? So this condition will be satisfied and the remaining condition will never be checked. We know that in case of nested if else or if else if later, if one condition is checked, the following condition is not going to be checked. So if this condition is true, it will display only as fun. This was the logical error. People might have did this one. So when I'm writing this divisible rule of 3 as a first one, it will display divisible of 3. 15 is divisible of 3, so it will display fun alone. If at all you are writing divisible of 5 alone first, it will display gun as your output. So what is the first statement should be written? The first divisibility rule should be written as fun gun. This is the first statement to be written. And after to that, you can write any one of the rule. It's completely up to you. Now we can go ahead further. First, you're supposed to check the given number is divisible by 3. Okay. And given number is divisible by 5. Okay. We can go ahead further. If it is divisible, print fun gun. Or even if you want, you can check for not divisible also first. It's up to you. Okay, but when you're going to check with these three data, when you're going to nest it, the first thing should be divisible of 3 and 5 condition. Then only you're supposed to go ahead with the further one. If this condition is not true, then you're going to check divisible of 3 or 5. It's up to you. I'm going to check divisible of 3 here. Then I'll print it as fun as my output. Elif. I can have multiple conditions there, right? So I can make use of elif. Divisible of 5, then I can print gun as my output. Else, when all my condition is false, then I can print not divisible. Okay, this is your program. The important thing, the important key point you should remember here is the way of nesting the data. So here they'll be keeping a checkpoint of your test cases. They'll give 5 or 10 test cases, which 10 test cases will have multiple values for checking all the combination output. So you should be aware of it. So if I give 15 as my input, which is a common, it will give you fun gun as my output. So based on my input, it's going to give you. If I give 7, it is not divisible by anything. So not divisible will be displayed. So is this logic clear? Come on. Okay, good. I'll give you one more program, guys, by using looping. If at all I want to display factors of a given number, factors of given number, how will I do it? Guys, this question is very simple, but it has some logical here. Here right now I'm going to teach you people how to write an efficient program in a time complexity manner. The same program can be written in different approach. I'm going to teach you in an efficient manner. Just listen to it. Here you're supposed to find the factors of a given number. Okay, normally if I give the number 6, what are the factors of 6? Factors. All the factors logic you might have learned in schooling itself. Factors of 6, what are those? Okay, 1, 2, 3. Again, 6 will be the factor. Okay. Factors of 10. We'll get 1, 2, 5 and 10. Isn't it? Will you people write logic for this? Hardly it will be of 3 lines. Will you try it soon? Factors of this particular number. Right? Displaying the factors. How will you write logic for this one? Displaying the factors? By using for loop. make a loop run from certain number of times and try to display the factors of any number, any given number. Make it soon. Samir, for loop. Okay. What is the range? My question is all about range. That's the reason I asked you to write the code. I want the range exactly what you're going to give here. 0 to 10. Prakash, okay. Till n plus 1. Okay. So you people are saying like this, isn't it? So you'll be having... Okay. Okay, good, Niranjan. Guys, listen here. So this is what you people are saying. I'll be accepting some integer value here. So based on my value, you're saying that I'll go for I in... Just a minute, guys. Sorry, guys. Okay, fine. Good. Guys, the important thing what I came to say here is, if at all you want to find the factors of it, you're going to divide by and check it, right? You're going to take a number, you're going to check, you're going to take a number and you're going to divide by the I value. Normally, how will I say these are the factors? You will have the sequence, right? You will have the sequence. I'll take this number 6, I'll divide by 1 and check, I'll divide by 2 and I'll divide by 3 and I'll divide by 4 and I'll divide by 5. Same way I'll divide by 6. Those are the number which is perfectly divisible and the remainder is 0. I'll name it as a factor. This is how I'll be naming it, right? So among this, we can notice that the perfectly divisible number is 1, 2, 3 and 6. These are the perfectly divisible number. The remaining number will get some remainder output. We'll never get output as 0. So this is how we'll be checking it. So this is what the condition I'm giving here is equals to 0. Then I'm supposed to print this number. If I give 6, you will be getting this as your output. But look at the time complexity of this. If I give 6, how many times this loop is executing? How many times this loop is executing? For loop is executing how many times? Come on. How many times this for loop has been executed? 6 times, isn't it? Good. If I give 6, it will be executing 6 times. If I give 100, it will execute 100 times. If I give 1000, it has to execute 1000 times. So which is nothing but your complexity is it has to execute the given number times, isn't it? I'm going to execute the given number times. Here the time complexity will be mentioning as big O of n. Don't worry about what is this big O. All those things I'll teach you in the data structure. Time complexity is here right now big O of n, which is nothing but the loop will execute n times. So whatever the number I am giving, it will execute n times. So there is some way for optimizing it. This is what you're going to see now. So if at all the given number is 100, what are the factors for 100? We'll be having 1, 2, 4, then 10, then we'll have 20, 25, 50, 100. These are the factors, right? So I have written 3 different factors. Okay. Can you find some similarity in it? Some similar logic in all these 3 numbers? Not only this number, any number you're taking, you'll be getting some... Yeah, 25 is mistyped. I'll type it. Thank you, Samir. Okay. So what is the similarity here? What is the similar logic? I'm speaking about logic, guys. I didn't speak about the values. What is the similar logic on all those three inputs? What is the similar logic here? Can you find some similarity among these three factors? One and two, Janki, no, Ramadevi. That is not a logic. So you're saying that all the values are common. One and two is common. No, that is not the thing. What is that, Prakash? That is one. Okay, but that is not a reasonable meaning. Okay, Divya. No, five is missing. Where five is missing? Somewhere where five is missing? Yeah, five is missing. We'll type it here. Factors will be five here. No, five. I don't find anyone is giving correct answer. Here, this typo error is there. I'll type it, guys. Five is missing after four. Five should be there. This typo during typing, I have missed it. No, I don't find that. No, those who people are looking at the logic. Look at the logic. Okay, listen. I'll tell you. For six, you're having factors till. What is it, Surya? That is the logic you're saying. Everyone is just looking at the first number and the last number, but those people, you people fail to look at the logic. Okay, listen, I'll tell you. For 6, you can notice that you're having factors only 3 till 3, and next you're having the next factor is 6. For 5, you're having for 10, you're having factors only till 5. The next factor is 10. For 100, you're having only factors till 50. The next factor is 100. What is the logic? Now tell me what is the logic. Good, good. Someone has mentioned here in case of question and answer. I didn't notice it. Good, ma. It just came as anonymous attendee. I don't know your name. Good. So what is this? For any given number, you're going to have factors only till half of the number. Again, you'll get the same number as your factor. Okay. Yes, the number of iteration has been reduced here. So I can able to optimize the same code in this way. So instead of going till n plus 1 by 2 times, just I'll go only by n by 2 times. N by 2 plus 1 should be there. This plus 1 is mandatory. N by 2 plus 1. You are supposed to make use of this integer division and float division difference. You should know it. Else what happen? You will get float value as a result. After this, you are supposed to come out of this program and you are supposed to print here the given number value. So even for this program also, you'll be getting same output. But what happens here, the number of iteration, I'm not going till n iteration. I'll go only till half of the iteration. Got it? So what is your time complexity here? Order of n by 2 will be a time complexity. So the number of iteration for finding the same program has been reduced to half. Is this clear? Clear how to write an efficient program? So even this can be reduced. I am not going to show you the particular logic. The next concept I'll show you that one. If I'm reducing this further, you people will be confused. So right now I'm not going to disturb this program. Tell me till this audio people clear. Come on, make it soon. We're having just 10 minutes of 10 minutes of time, I guess. We are supposed to complete one more program. Okay. Guys, if you're finding something doubt, just let me know. Feel free to type, okay? Okay, good. And the next program, we are going to see based on these factors only. Okay, based on these factors only, the similar logic we are going to see. That is nothing but you are going to check the given number is prime or not. We are going to check given number is prime or not. So what is the logic for prime number? How can I say the given number is prime number or not? So how can we say the given number is prime or not? What is the logic strategy you people are following for it? What is that? Come on. Good, good, Divya. Good. Normally, we'll say that if the number is divisible by 1 and itself, it is a prime number. The number divisible by 1 and itself. So, if I take 7, 7 is divisible by 1 and itself, I'll name it as a prime number. If I take 5, I'll take 5 is divisible by 1 and itself, it is a prime number. And if I take 6, 6 is divisible by 1, 2, 3, and the given number, so it is not a prime number. Right? So, if it is divisible more than apart from one in itself, you'll be naming it. So the other thing is I can name it as this is nothing but finding factors. This prime number logic is nothing but finding factor is the logic of prime number. There is a relation between factors and prime number. If the particular number has two factors, it has only two factors, then it is a prime number. When it has more than two factors, it is not a prime number. This is the logic, guys. So this is literally mean that finding factors for a given number and checking if the number has only two factors, then it is a prime number. If the number has more than two factors, it is not a prime number. This is the logic we'll be writing. So we just now we are wrote logic for this finding factors. We'll just directly convert this program here. Right now, just let me clear it. So we'll make use of this program itself, the same program. This program. So we know that finding factors can be optimized. Okay, so initially let me write in a normal way, then we can go in an optimized way. The given number. So you're going to check here if it is divisible. So I'm going to take a value input and I'm going to go to range plus 1. If at all the number is divisible by, here you can notice that if you're going to find a prime number, I can traverse in multiple way. So normally we know that we can go from 1 to given number and we can have some counter. If my count value is 2, then I can name it as a prime number. This is one logic. The other logic I can go from 2 to n minus 1. I can go to this. If I have my count value 0, this is a prime number. Okay, or 2 to n till your n value. If your count value is 1, it means a prime number. Here, what is the logic they are trying to do is, here we'll be doing it. I'm starting, my start value will be from 2. I'm excluding 1. So if I'm excluding 1, if at all the prime number, it will have only one factor. So I can write like this. Okay, or you can write the logic starting from 2 to the given number minus 1. And you can say that here if my count value remains 0. You can say that if my count value remains 0, then it is a prime number. This is a normal logic where people will be writing. So here I'll take this the second approach. I'm going to start from 2 to given number. Okay, I'm going to start from 2 to given number, or I can, the last one you can take, guys. Okay, somehow we are going to optimize it. This is not the optimized way, just I'm going to go ahead with the flow, with the normal flow, how you will be doing it. So I'm going to take from 2 to given number minus 1. For the any given number, if I take this number, I'll take from 2 to 6, 5, 2 to 4. If I take 6, I'll take from 2 to 5. So excluding the 1 and the given number. I'm excluding the particular number and I'm trying to do this operation. If at all, if it is divisible by any one of the number apart from this 1 in itself, I'll name that it is not a prime number. So directly I'm going to check it here. If it is divisible, if it is not divisible, then if it is divisible within this range. Here for any given number, I'm excluding 1 and the given number. If I mention number in the sense, it will go only till the given number minus 1, isn't it? So I'm taking from the range from 2 to the given number minus 1. So I'm excluding the logic for prime number. The prime number, whatever the 1 in itself, I'm excluding here. I'm taking a logic. If at all, if it is divisible, I can display immediately. It's not a prime number. then I can break my operation. No need of going further. Okay. Surya, what happened? What is that? What is that? I or 1? Else, I can write else block for it. If it is not divisible throughout the program by this particular number, then I'll write prime number. I can execute it. If I give 7, it will display prime number. If I give some other number, 6 or something else, it will display not a prime number. Till this, already people clear the same program, factors program. I'm taking a range alone. Just I'm scrutinizing the range and I'm checking if it is from 2 to n minus 1. Check if it is divisible. Immediately say prime number. So not a prime number. If it is not divisible throughout the logic of within this range, then display prime number. Yeah, Shami, this is good, but even though this is not an optimized way, we'll see the optimized way. Okay. So now this is done. So somehow we are not going to include the last number here. You can notice that somehow we are not going to include the last number. So what happens if I am taking 6, it will go till 5. The same way we'll take this 100 value of this 100. So it will be somewhat easy to map it. If I take 100, okay, you can notice that here according to this logic what I'm doing is I'm taking from 2 to 99. Is it required for us to go to 99? It is not required. The reason is we know that for any given number we are going to have only half a number as a factor then the given number. Somehow we are not going to include the last number. Then it is not, that is not required to go to 99. We can stop at 50 itself. So we can optimize here by mentioning the parenthesis. Here we are going to divide by 2, okay, and make it as plus 1. The reason plus 1 is I want to go till 50, not till 49. So that we are supposed to mention plus 1 logic here. So if I give this some number, it will display the same. Somehow your output will be same. The number of iteration is reduced. Clear? These are the first two optimized way. So in this approach, you could see that a loop will execute n times or n minus 1 or n minus 2 times within this range. And the other step what you are seeing is going to the given number 2 to the n by 2. So here you can notice that the number of iteration is reduced by n by 2 times. Till this already clear, I'm going to show you one more logic where it's a more optimized way which is commonly used in HackerRank. For that, if you, I should know, get confirmation from you people, is that clear so far? Come on, make it soon. Yes, you're clear, right? Okay, guys, these logic is very much important. You'll be writing in HackerRank, Code Beta, or Vibro questions where you're going to write it. You'll be having these logics. And we are speaking only about the logic. I didn't speak about any programming language. If you know the logic, you can implement the same logic and even in C or C++ Java. Okay. Here, I told you that this is not the optimized way. Even this is not the optimized way. You're going to optimize till. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go till only n by 4 times. I'm not going to go till n by 2 times. I'm going to go till n by 4 times and I'm going to do it. I'll show you what is that. N by 4 times. The next more optimized way is you're going to go to n by 4. The given number divide by 4. So that is nothing but if at all the number 100 is given within 10 iteration. Here I've taken 100 for your easy understanding. Whatever the logic we are going to see, it will be applicable for all the numbers. Okay. So within 10 iteration, I'm going to find whether the given number is prime or not. So this is a more optimized way. Okay, first I'll explain the logic of it, then I'll go get further. So if I take 100, so exception cases I didn't see Prakash, just we are seeing with the prime number logic, then you can add this exception cases. Okay. So if I take 100, we know that these are the factors, right? 1, 2, 4, 5, 10, 20, 25, 50. So what I'll do is if I take square root of 100, we are going to take square root of given number, we'll be getting 10 as the answer. So what I'll do is I'll have two separate lists. Let me have list 1 and let me have list 2. So the first number is 1. The first number of your factor is 100 is 1. So if I know this number, I can able to generate the other number. It is nothing but by using 100 divided by 1 gives you 100 again. The same way, the second number is 2. So by using this number, I can generate it. 100 divided by 2 gives you 50, which is the other next number. If I know this number, there is some relation between this number and this number. The next number and this number. The next number and this number. And the next number and this number. There is some relation. This relation only I'm going to show you. Listen here. If I know the next number, that is nothing but if I know 4, the other number can be generated, which is nothing but 100 divided by 4 gives you 20. The same way, if I know 5, 100 divided by 5 gives you, sorry, 100 divided by 4 gives you 25, right? Alright, 100 divided by 5 gives you 20. And 10, 100 divided by 10 gives you 10 again. So here, what is the rule? This is not only for 100. I'm keep on repeating. It is applicable for all the numbers. Just for easy understanding, I have taken this number. It will be a easy round of value. So here, for any number, if you are finding factors, if you go to square root of the given number times, the other number will be the divisible of it. The other number will be the divisible of it. So you people might have a doubt. If I know this particular number 100, 50, 25, 10, then can I generate it? Yes, you can generate it. 100 divided by 100 gives you 1, which is this first number, right? If you mention 100 divided by 50, it gives you 2, which is the next number. 100 divided by 5 gives you 4. 100 divided by 20 gives you 5. 100 divided by 10 gives you 10 again. So, whenever you're finding factors, am I audible, ma? Yes, yes, right? Okay, fine, fine. So this is a logic behind it. It is not required to go till n times or n by 2 times. It is sufficient to go till square root of the given times. So the same program, what I'm going to do is I'm going to mention math dot square root and I'm going to execute it. Okay, in this place you can mention math dot, I can mention math dot square root of the given number plus 1. You can execute it starting from 2 to math dot square root of given number and execute this one. Guys, I want you people to try out this one and we'll discuss this one in the afternoon session. Okay, the evening session we can discuss it. Before that, I want you to try it. There is nothing great here. Just import your math module and try to implement this logic here. Ganesh, it will work even for your not a perfect number also. Perfect square number also. That's the reason I'm keep on saying that it will be working for all the numbers. Just I want you people to try it. Is this logic clear so far for you people? Okay, good.